everyone, this is ChakaWhat here, and today I'm going to be presenting to you my review of issues 1 through 6 of the newest Goon series. The Goon is created, written, and illustrated by Eric Powell, with colors by Powell and Rachel Cohen, and issue 5 also features writing, issue 5 and 6 also features writing by Thomas Snagowski and art by Brett Parson. The Goon is probably one of my favorite indie series out there. I adore the characters, the art, the humor, the commentary, and sometimes the surprising emotional impact of the storylines that pop up. So I was very excited for this series, and I even have a poster for it in my room. So, since I've only briefly reviewed the Goon once on this channel within my, I believe, second Grumble review, I'll introduce the characters and go from there. The Goon. Known simply as the Goon, his Aunt Kizzy raised him in a carnival where she worked as a strong woman. Unfortunately, she was murdered trying to save him. And the criminal who murdered her, the Goon, took up his hat and his list and took off on the road. I love the Goon because he's got the elements of a stereotypical punch first, ask questions later kind of tough guy thing, but he also breaks the mold a lot by being at times compassionate and smart and sarcastic and just sometimes quite a loving, gentle guy. I even dressed up as him for Free Comic Book Day. I just think he fits well into the comically melancholy world that Powell has created for him. And if you're interested in him, I would highly recommend starting from issue 1, because issue 1 just starts right off and you really learn more about the characters each issue that comes along. It's just such a fantastic series. Franky is just... Okay, Franky is my boy, okay? He can be such a brat and a bastard, but I love him so much. Franky joined with the Goon when they were both really little kids. Like, the Goon came to Franky's town and Franky was getting bullied and the Goon helped him, and when Franky he killed a zombie and then he found all of this inner strength. And just a little bit too much confidence, I'll be honest, because at times he can be pretty arrogant. And he also has a willingness to speak his mind even when it's not socially appropriate. And so despite this abundance of rough edges that Franky has, he also can be very sweet, very caring, especially with kids. And quite honestly, he would do anything in his power to make sure the Goon was happy and safe. So I only really wanted to go through the Goon and Franky at the moment just because they're the leads of the story. So our first issue begins with the Goon, Franky, and Roscoe returning to the town with no name and obviously heading straight to Norton's, as one does. Aware of their homelessness, Roscoe excuses himself and returns to the orphanage. And the Goon and Franky meet a ghostly retailer who shows them a home, and Goon works to make sure it's more his home, and I'll go into that because it's a really sweet moment. And then tragedy strikes in the form of Vinny Nosferatu. Luckily, the old foe isn't too much of a challenge for our favorite monster hunters. Goon and Franky also reunite with the little unholy bastards, and of course do what they can to help the children with their dilemmas while also taking down a mummy, as one does. Goon and friends continue to battle monsters in their grim world of sparkling social commentary for the remainder of the issues. So, I am just overjoyed to actually be able to read a Goon series as it's coming out. So, I was born in 2002. And the Goon, I believe, started around 2003. So obviously I was not old enough to appreciate or even know about it. So I've really just been reading the Goon as volumes and back issues. I'm really late to the party of the Loving Goon party. But I can't help but love it so much. I have it in different boxes everywhere. And so, this is all I wanted. It's written for Goon fans, just with all of the the lovely characters that they bring back, and the storyline and the commentary. And yeah, it's such a trip. So, parts I liked. Obviously, I love Eric Powell's art. I love his style. I love his writing style. I just think that this series is super gorgeous all around, even especially with the colors as well. It's a very good style. It's very unique. It's very the Goon. In the first issue, when the realtor, there we go, when he's taking them through the houses, he shows them one, he's like, blah blah blah, it has this and this and a death curse, and they go through this like 5 times, and they're like, wait, hang on, can we have one that doesn't have a death curse? And he's so confused, and that just made me laugh so much. I actually have a picture of it saved, and I use it sometimes in conversation. I'm like, it has this and a death curse. And then the moment I was talking about that I thought was really sweet was when the Goon was trying to make their new home more a home. He ordered a picture of his Aunt Kizzy, a poster for her, and he said, now it's home. I'm like, Goon! Emotions. And then, of course, when they were battling Nosferatu, Franky was just being Franky. He was just getting a kick out of everything. Like, the two like followers of the Nosferatu, the 2 vampires, they showed up to the door, and he didn't invite them in, but he's like, here, can you hold this for me? And it was just a pig full of dynamite, and he slams the door. He's like, ha! I just gave them a pig full of dynamite! He's just so insane. I kin with Franky. And if you read the Goon, you will see why. Also, when the unholy little bastards show up, they were like really distressed because basically in the orphanage that they're in, the old lady super abuses them. So they often escape and hang with the Goon and Franky to have that, you know, that love that they desperately need. And they they brought cats this time, and they told the Goon and Franky, they're like, she wants us to drown the cats, but we don't want to drown the cats because they're so cute. And the Goon and Franky were like, well, of course, you don't want to drown cats. It's just, and then later, when they were battling the mummy, they like just threw the cats on the mummy. And I love the unholy little bastards, because sometimes they'll be like really stoic, and they'll be like, fellow children. And they'll like be super articulate in talking about like how the Goon and Franky are not good role models at all. And it's just, yes. And then, I think it was issue 4 or 5, started out with some really heart-wrenching commentary about being poor. Like, this guy doesn't have a dime, he wants to make it, he wants to be an honest, working guy, you know, get a nice job so he can feed himself and live comfortably. And so he starts taking the advice from a rich man. And he wants to go to school to be a fisherman. Well, you have to pay to go to this school. He's like, I don't have any money. So he's like, screw that, I'm going to be a self-taught fisherman. So he goes to get himself a fishing pole. Doesn't have any money, so he can't do that. So it was just like, it was pretty dark and real. And that does happen at times with the Goon. It gets really dark and really real really fast. And it's just it was a good commentary on how, if you want, it's so hard, you know, people always tell it, build character, get a job, get experience. Like, I remember when I got my job, people were like, it's gonna build character. I'm like, what does that mean? I feel like I have enough character. But yeah, it was pretty heart-wrenching. It was very good, and I thought that it was just like, oh yeah, this is when the Goon gets real. There were a couple parts I disliked. I'm not too keen on when the story goes into like villain backstories. I'm not. They are good. They are well written and well illustrated and everything. They're just not my favorite part. And there were a few of those. Because really, I just want to see Goon and Franky punch the villain. Like, I love the story, obviously. You can tell how much I love the Goon, Franky, all of that. But sometimes when it's about the villains, I'm like, Ugh. Also, the artist change for issues 4 and not 4 and 5, 5 and 6 really caught me off guard. I think the artist did a really good job capturing the style that we are very accustomed to with the Goon, but I just feel like I usually just like it, except unless it's a cover. I usually just prefer it when Powell draws. I don't want to insult anyone here. It's just it did catch me off guard a little bit, like when you're so used to an artist and their style and then it switches and it's like so similar but not the same. It just really caught me off guard. I mean, I wouldn't have the issues any other way. I think they're very well done, but I just like it when Powell's the main artist. So, that's all I really have for these 6 issues. I also want to apologize for not continuing with my Punisher reviews. There's been some really awesome stuff in the recent issues, but I kind of felt like a broken record as each review came out. It just felt like I was saying the same things. Oh, Jigsaw, I love Jigsaw. Y'all know I love Jigsaw, okay? You don't need to hear me say it again. You will, but you don't need to hear me. So, I just want to have a lot more time and willpower to review other comics, like the Goon. Also, with school, I have my schedule and my time and my motivation to review has been super low, so I'm really sorry for that. But, you know, I've been so eager to review this series, and I love the Goons so much. It's just such a comforting comic for me to read. It's my comfort zone. I turn on Queen and I listen to the Goon. I turn on and listen to Queen and I read the Goon because I feel like Queen and the Goon for some reason go together really well. I don't know, it's just me. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed my video and remember to like and subscribe. Bye!
Do you believe in kissing, honey? You bet I do. Well, I believe in kissing, honey, when the moon is new.
So as many of you know, I am a citizen of the USA, and currently our country is suffering from a crisis at the border. Immigrants seeking asylum in the US are being detained. Families are being separated and kept in detention centers in horrible conditions. All of it is scary and horrible, and a bit hard to come to terms with. So until things start getting better, I'm placing this message at the end of all of my videos to try to use what little influence I have to bring awareness and help. There are a number of things you can do to help. One of the simplest things is to donate to Immigrant Families Together, who are fundraising money to pay the bonds of detained immigrants and also provide necessities to families such as hygiene products, food, and shelter. This organization is also looking for volunteers. You can also take direct action by calling your state's government's officials and try to make your voice heard, and also refuse to let your taxes go to fund these facilities. There are many groups online that are looking for help to make sure these people are treated like human beings and receiving the help they desperately need. Let's prove that there is still hope for humanity and help solve this crisis in the most humane way possible. Remember, showing kindness isn't political. It's just the right thing to do. Thank you.